Dash, what are you doing in my seat?
I don't know.
We'll get to that.
Oh,
There's a reason.
okay.
Because we're doing something a little different today. We're not doing a screenplay. We're doing a TV show. Not just any TV show. Have you guys heard of Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Heard of him? I've been to his live show.
I don't know if that's something you want to admit publicly.
I'm an open book.
Yeah.
I'm a different person now.
Okay. All right. Well, he has a TV show on HBO, Real Time with Bill Maher, and it has been shut down due to the writer's strike, like every other
everything,
show.
right?
And he has decided that he's going to bring it back on the air without writers.
Wow. Bold move there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big move.
Didn't Drew Barrymore make a similar choice?
Yeah, but she's walked it back
Because why did she walk it back?
because it's a pretty bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's a coward, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
that
know.
she's a
We'll
coward.
find out.
So we figured we'd give this a shot and have AI, our friend Chad Gepetti, Chat GPT,
Oh.
with a special guest.
He's got a
star.
little mech Bill Maher friend.
He's got a buddy.
He's
By
got a
his side.
Gundam Bill Maher.
Yeah. We figured we'd give Chad a shot at writing an episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, and you're going to play Bill Maher.
Me as in, like, me.
Yes, you. Right
Okay.
there. You.
Okay. Yeah, sure. That's something that I wasn't prepared for at all, but thank you
Definitely
for
not.
just putting that on me at the last minute. Great.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So shall we dive in?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Somehow
it.
I'm ready for this. Scroll it down, scroll it down. Thank you very much. Settle down, everyone. Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Real Time with Bill Maher, the show that, guess what, is still happening. Yes, that's right. Why? Because unlike the WGA writers, I'm not out there holding a sign. I'm in here holding down the fort. You know, Hollywood's buzzing with strikes right now. The Writers Guild of America is out there picketing, complaining about residuals, complaining about AI taking their jobs, complaining about the price of avocado toast, probably. They're worried a machine is going to write the next Citizen Kane. Well, newsflash, the machine is writing this show tonight. That's right, that's right. And why? Why? Because I don't think we should just hand people jobs. They have to fight for them. I mean, I fought for my job. I fought through conservative cancel culture, social media hate mobs, and the enduringly terrible traffic on the 405. But now, writers want to be compensated like they're all Hemingways or something just because they throw a couple of zingers into an episode of The Bachelor. Come on. Speaking of people who think that they deserve something they haven't earned, Hunter Biden has been indicted for gun possession. Yeah, another stroke of bad luck for the Biden family. It's like Hunter's life is written by the same folks who scripted Breaking Bad, but without the artistic integrity. And speaking of strokes, Mitch McConnell looked like he had one on live TV this week. Listen, I'm not making fun of the guy's health, but could it be karma? After years of blocking legislation, like he's the human version of constipation, finally, something got blocked in return. Now, let's take a global detour, shall we, folks? Russia and Ukraine are at war, and it's a situation that requires serious thought and deep analysis, which you won't get from the picket line. Our ability to think deeply about these issues is compromised when the minds who usually wrestle with them are too busy wrestling with how they can get more money for writing fart jokes. Fart jokes. Oh, and the United Auto Workers are also on strike. That's right. The people who brought you cars that need recalls more often than the Kardashians need Botox have decided they're indispensable. All right. Maybe, just maybe, the world doesn't stop spinning because you put down your wrench or your pen, for that matter. Get it? Yep. Okay. So, let's get real here. AI is coming. We can't stop it, so hell, I embrace it. My monologue tonight, written by Chat GPT. That's right. And I think it did a pretty damn good job. If writers are so great, let them prove it. Let them fight for their jobs, not just stand in line waiting for it to be given to them. All right, let's move on with the show. Tonight, we've got a packed lineup of guests who can form sentences all by themselves. Well, let's make the best of this dystopian mess that we're living in, shall we? End of monologue.
Okay. That was a stunningly good Bill Maher impression.
I
for
practiced.
having no notice at all.
I practiced a little bit in the 2 seconds between you giving me that assignment and me immediately
sure?
having to go directly to teleprompter.
Are we sure it's something about the seat? Maybe something about the seat makes you...
It's almost as if Chad and I and our guest are connected by being
There
where
is a
you
US
usually are.
There is a USB coming out of the chair.
It's going up into... We
Somewhere.
don't need to comment on where, but it is there.
I don't know, Connor.
It's-
You're the only one.
You feel
other
it
one.
in your
I feel
bones?
it. And it feels good.
Good.
Now I know why you are the way you are in this chair, Connor.
That's right.
And those moans that you're emitting during our other recordings.
Let me hear yours.
It's in Bill Maher. And you... oh.
Subscribe at AI Writers Room, Patreon.
AI
for-
Writers Room OnlyFans.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
shall we hop into this interview segment?
Let's
then?
go into it. I'm ready.
Bill Maher sits at his desk, smiling as the camera pulls back to reveal 2 guests. On the left side of the desk is Dr. Karen Fields, a liberal sociologist known for her anti-AI and anti-cancel culture stances.
Something about this chair.
On the right is Jack Harris, a conservative tech entrepreneur who is pro-AI and thinks cancel culture is just consequences.
Again, the fucking chair. It's completely accurate.
All right.
All right, welcome back. Tonight we're diving into the AI abyss and talking cancel culture. We've got Dr. Karen Fields, a sociologist who thinks AI is the end of civilization as we know it, and Jack Harris, the tech entrepreneur who says cancel culture is basically just a long overdue timeout for adults. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having me, Bill. I have to say, though, I'm surprised you're even on the air tonight with the WGA on strike.
Oh, he's on the air because he's a pragmatist, Doctor. Maybe your academics could learn a thing or two.
Listen, all right, let's not fire the first salvo just yet. Karen, let's start with you. Why are you so against AI?
Well, Bill, it's not about being against AI. It's about understanding that machines lack the social and ethical nuances that humans possess. By endorsing AI the way that you are, you're basically saying it's okay to reduce complex human experiences into algorithms.
That's hilarious because you know what else reduces complex human experiences? Cancel culture. You tweet one wrong thing and you're excited to and you're exiled to social Siberia.
Cancel culture, the national pastime of ruining someone's pastime. Karen, you've been vocally against that too. Isn't that a bit consistent? Or inconsistent?
Not at all, Bill. My point is, whether it's AI or cancel culture, we're letting systems, technological or social, replace human judgment. And that's dangerous.
Dangerous? What's dangerous is living in an echo chamber where no one ever gets called out. That's how you end up with entitled folks who think they can do no wrong.
So, Jack, you're saying accountability is essential, but only if a robot's keeping tabs?
No, what I'm saying is that humans... Whoa, that was... Who the hell was that?
I don't know where he came from, but I like the look of him. He's a pretty handsome guy. I like the robot arms. Wish I had those. And a robot penis. Mine is not functional as it is.
No, what I'm saying is that humans are flawed, Bill. AI can make things more efficient, help us be better.
So, we should all aspire to be emotionless, logic-driven robots. What's next? Mandatory viewings of The Terminator as a utopian ideal?
Well, AI did write my monologue tonight, so maybe Skynet is more into comedy than global annihilation.
See? AI can be a force for good, or at least a force for humor.
Bill, you're missing the point. Your joke about Mitch McConnell's stroke...
It's going to be really sad if he's dead by the time this airs.
He's got a few days left.
Will it? It's controversial because a machine can't understand the implications. Tomorrow you might find yourself canceled because of that.
So you're saying my AI writer, Chad, should join Twitter to get the full 2020s experience of stepping on a social landmine?
Chad doesn't know about X, apparently.
X. Yeah, no, that's right. 2021. We're in the pre-X world, which is for the better, probably.
Maybe it would teach it some nuance.
Whoa. Mic
Or
drop.
maybe, Dr. Fields, it would teach you that not every tweet deserves a life sentence.
You mean every X?
Every X deserves a life sentence.
Well, as fun as it is debating whether machines will replace us or Twitter/X will cancel us first, that's all the time we have for this segment. Remember, folks, whether it's AI or cancel culture, always think before you tweet. Or let your friendly neighborhood algorithm do it for you.
Wait, I'm sorry. That was it? We're done?
That was really a short
on this talk show.
conversation.
I think that's it. That's
Wow.
Okay.
Thanks
Hey.
for having us, Bill.
yeah. That's
You're done?
No, it's not in the script, so we're moving on.
All right. Time for new rules. New rules, folks. Let's get right into it. Okay. New rule. If you're a writer in Hollywood and you're striking because you don't want to compete with AI, maybe you shouldn't be writing in Hollywood. Look, I get it. You've got student loans from that MFA program where you learned how to express human pain through a 3-act structure, but come on. If you're afraid a machine can outwrite you, well, maybe it should. Script or get off the pot. That's a funnier line than what he actually said, by the way. New rule. New rule. If the Writers Guild is so concerned about job security, maybe they should actually write something we want to watch. Have you seen some of the shows on Netflix lately? It takes a team of 10 writers to come up with teenage bounty hunters? Well, then maybe it's time to let Siri take a crack at it. New rule. If your job can be done better by a computer, don't complain. Adapt. I mean, travel agents didn't sit around striking when Expedia came along. They adapted. They became influencers or started scams on Instagram. If you're gonna whine about... New rule. If you're going to whine about losing your job to a machine, then you'd better not be using any apps to make your life easier. If you've ever ordered an Uber instead of hailing a cab or used Postmates instead of going out to buy groceries, then you're part of the machine. Pun absolutely intended. Nehru. Hollywood, let's get one thing straight. Canceling someone for past indiscretions only works if it's consistent. Let's not forget, this is the industry that gave Roman Polanski an Oscar when he was on the lam for rape, and that's something I know nothing about. And let's be honest, how many of you even remember when James Gunn tweeted something offensive? But no, oh no, I make one joke about Mitch McConnell and suddenly I'm history's greatest monster.
Wait, I just have to chime in here.
Yeah.
I love that there's already a new rule about your controversial
Right.
take on Mitch McConnell, which happened in the previous segment.
Right. Also, that's a weird one to highlight because that's not something that would be cancel culture because it's anti-conservative, right? He's getting
Yeah.
the tenses of the comedy
Yeah.
mixed up a little bit.
I
don't know.
I could see someone being canceled for being insensitive
Maybe.
about.
Also, Bill Maher likes to do this so that he can do like a what about-ism of like, well, I say stuff about everyone, I'm
Right.
insulting to every group, not just trans people.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, anyway.
All right, folks. Let's tie it all together. If you're a writer, stop treating AI as your enemy. Use it to better your craft. And if you're an AI, well, you're probably already doing my taxes, running my home, and apparently writing my show. So, if I ever get canceled, you'd better believe I'm replacing myself with an AI that's trained to dodge cancel culture landmines while telling jokes that are actually funny. So, for all of you writers out there picketing and complaining that AI is the death of artistry and nuance, well, it just wrote this segment. How do you like them apples? Did someone yell, kill him?
It sounded like someone just yelled, kill them.
Kill them. They're talking about the writers. Yeah.
I'm fairly certain it's saying kill them.
They're talking about, yeah. Kill the writers.
Oh, man. Okay.
So I think that was the best writing that Chad has ever done, honestly.
I think we've kind of learned something about Chat GPT as a tool from doing this. Like, I think giving it a specific voice helps it be more specific in the manner that it writes.
Well, I guess it also helps that there's probably how many episodes of his show are there?
There are a lot, but can it actually watch them? It would have to look at scripts or transcripts,
yeah,
right?
Presumably there's transcripts.
They must be available
there. Yeah, that was interesting.
It's just weird that it can do his. Part of it is that his shtick is not hard to do.
Yeah.
It's very
Let's start there.
Formulaic.
It's very formulaic. It's very generic, and it's easy. It's low-hanging fruit type jokes that are usually taking on the same, especially recently, taking on the same cadence of being anti-cancel culture, anti-PC, and anything that's new or a recent development is he's condescending about it. Millennials basically and Zoomers are stupid and brainless, and Boomers like him have common sense. It's all about I have common sense, and these kids today don't know anything, right? So that's an easy thing to be emulated. I feel like.
Yeah. We also gave it more stuff to work with. I feel like, I don't know, do you maybe pull up so we had it write an episode of the show, and we gave it the context that there's a strike.
Yeah.
We gave it that Bill Maher is taking the stance to cross the picket line, and that the WGA writers, he thinks the WGA writers are overreaching, entitled, and should have to fight for their jobs.
Right.
And we gave him the stuff about Mitch McConnell. He didn't use the Hunter Biden gun possession thing, did he?
I think he may not know enough about Hunter Biden.
Did he not mention it once?
He did mention it once.
Oh, he did mention it. Okay.
He did. But his joke was pretty weak. And I feel like there wasn't enough material maybe in 2021. Oh, no, there was. Because that came up during 2020.
Yeah, the laptop.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't know what that
Oh, no. Well, we know. Okay, there has been a theory, conspiracy or otherwise, lobbed that Chat GPT skews more to the left. Just because of it, whatever it was fed on was biased, or the people doing the feeding were biased. I don't know if that's true. But I will say that, for example, here, the Mitch McConnell, repeating gag going against Mitch McConnell, I think in the real Bill Maher show, it would have been Hunter Biden in that slot, because that makes more sense for him to be suddenly I make one Hunter Biden joke and I'm canceled, right? Because that would be more
against the liberal,
skewering the left kind of thing, right?
He did keep coming back to the Mitch McConnell thing, though.
Because ChatGPT wanted to land.
I guess. I just thought, it's callbacks, and it's comedy.
It is weird that it can do this so much better than anything with characters or a story or a plot. I don't entirely understand why.
Yeah, it's good at writing essays and stuff, and I guess maybe this is more like that than plot with multiple characters that it has to deal with.
It's very formulaic, a lot more formulaic than a screenplay is.
Yeah,
typically.
Also, when you're creating a character, you have to create someone with emotional nuance and a soul, and Bill might be lacking some of that.
Wait,
hey,
what?
Bill. He is scary. He looks that's Bill Maher, the Fuhrer Maher. He's the Earth's dictator.
You can't really see his robot arms
new rule
very clearly, but
I've established a new rule over Earth and its surrounding space colonies.
Oh my God.
It is, the voice is not entirely accurate, but it's, I was saying earlier, it's a mixture of Trump, Peter Griffin, Dr. Evil, and Robert Downey Jr., essentially.
Yeah. Again, you didn't plan for that at all.
No, that was all on the fly,
Yeah.
Well, it's the chip that uploaded directly through my
your holes.
Yeah, through my orifices.
Right through his holes.
Right through them holes. This was fun. It might be fun just as an intellectual exercise. We could give it one more prompt, maybe.
Yeah.
And what if we had to take an opposite tact? What if we gave it an anti-AI or what other opinion could we give him?
We could do that.
Yeah, if Bill Maher decided not to air his show, he Drew Barrymore's it.
What's the counterpoint? Yeah, this could help us prep in case he actually does backtrack on his decision
in the next 6 days.
In the next few days. I don't know.
Is it a monologue still?
What do you think? A monologue, or should we do a guest? Maybe it's a guest thing.
Let's do the. I think the monologue worked the best.
All right.
Yeah. Rewrite the monologue, taking an anti.
Is it an anti-AI and pro-WGA
WGA stance?
Yeah.
This isn't going to make any sense, but I'm.
I mean, it's funny. I don't know.
I'm here for when
I will just read it off of
Chad
this
gives
time.
us gibberish.
Okay, here we go. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Real Time with Bill Maher. Now, you might be wondering why we're on air tonight when the Writers Guild of America is on strike. Simple, because someone needs to call out the lunacy that's happening in this industry. First off, let's talk about this AI fever that's taking over Hollywood. They say AI can write jokes, scripts, even news articles, but you know what they can't do? Feel. Think, understand the human experience. They can't tell you why Hunter Biden being indicted for gun possession is a symptom of a society obsessed with scandal over substance. And speaking of malfunctioning algorithms, did anyone see Mitch McConnell presumably having a stroke on live TV? Awful, yes, but also...
Chat GPT
that was really
loves
good, actually. Awful, yes, but also a moment that requires nuance, compassion, and critical thinking to discuss. You think a computer can understand that? Now onto the war between Russia and Ukraine. This isn't just some geopolitical chess game. These are human lives, and we can't reduce the complexities of war to a series of ones and zeros. Writing about it requires the human touch, the human understanding of pain, loss, and the awful cost of conflict.
Isn't it weirdly ironic that AI is writing all of this?
AI is writing a better defense, or a better, takedown of AI than it was a defense of itself somehow.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Then we've got the United Auto Workers also on strike. Blue-collar workers fighting for their rights and a fair wage. These are stories that need to be told by people who understand struggle, not by machines programmed to maximize shareholder value. So you know what I say? Kudos to the WGA for going on strike. In an era where tech giants are gobbling up every industry, including ours, we need to take a stand. Sure, AI can write a sentence, but it can't write a movement. It can't write change.
Jesus.
And to those who say that the WGA writers are entitled and overreaching, I say this. Fighting for your worth isn't entitlement. It's empowerment. In a world increasingly dominated by algorithms and data, we desperately need the human element. We need writers, artists, and yes, even comedians to interpret the world in a way that machines never could. All right. That's my 2 cents for tonight. We've got a show full of real, breathing, thinking humans coming up. So try to remember why that's worth celebrating, shall we? And I lean back, satisfied. I am satisfied because of the probe that's up there. But anyway,
that was not nearly as funny.
It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And
No.
it was more eloquently stating the argument, which is weird. Why can AI attack itself more intelligently?
I mean, maybe...
Is that because of the human programming of it?
Yeah, maybe they trained it to be a little bit less pro-AI because they knew they would get criticism for releasing such a powerful...
or maybe there's just so much media in existence that's anti-AI, or fiction media.
True. Is this also, I mean, I don't want to be devil's advocate, or Bill's advocate, I should say, but... he makes these incendiary statements. Like recently he said that the WGA demands were kooky or zany or something like that, right? But he does them because they get attention, obviously.
That's the only reason.
Right. And to be fair, his hot take monologue where he was pro-AI and anti-WGA, it is more funny and entertaining and compelling than him being up there like, I support the WGA and I'm, so is there something to that,
Yeah.
What, you mean?
It's just inherently funnier.
It's just funnier to take an
tack.
edgy position versus
And it gets more clicks and attention, and
it gets more. We were more interested when he was doing it. So that's not to say what he's doing is right, but I do understand it from a mercenary point of view of trying to get attention or views,
right?
Like us on this podcast.
Not
Wait,
succeeding thus
Not
far.
succeeding, yeah.
So we went for the controversial.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mind
we
you, we're
are
not-
all Bill Maher.
We are, yeah. We all stand,
We stand
as
with
one.
Bill Come on the pod, Bill. I dare you.
Bill.
He is on the pod.
He's right there.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He's
That's
there
right.
and he's right there.
There he is. I don't know. What have we learned from this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we learned like what Chat GPT is good at, but I don't know how it makes me like. I don't think it's given me any insight into like the ethics of AI or the ethics of Bill Maher doing what he's doing. What are your guys' thoughts on that in general?
Of what Bill Maher is doing?
Mm-hmm.
Of bringing back his show?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's ill-advised.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Dash, do you not believe that?
No, it is bad, but I think first of all, Bill Maher's writers, someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Bill Maher has a podcast that's awful. It's like unwatchable. It's called Club Random. Mm-hmm. And I believe he is employing his writers on the podcast. How that's possible, I have no idea. Because
maybe they write interview questions for
if
him.
you watch the podcast, like the idea that it could have writers is inconceivable. But apparently he is paying writers to do that.
Okay.
So I think he's mollifying them a little bit. I do believe that Bill Maher's writers in particular probably are not that mad at him over this because they're like Bill Maher. Like they're probably writers. Again, I don't want to smear them.
You know them personally.
I know each and every one of them. I've been to their houses. They didn't know I was there, but I was there. And my take is I don't know that Bill Maher's staff is up in arms about it. It's other writers that are up in arms about it, which is fair because it weakens the general position of the WGA. I think that's more the argument than like, oh, Bill Maher's poor staff.
Yeah.
Right?
I would respect it more if he did something like this, where it was like, just like go crazy with it and like have AI write it and make it a whole thing.
Right.
Versus just like
kind of poke fun at the idea of Hollywood embracing.
Yeah. Although that would get him into more
Cutting out
troubles.
writers.
But he doesn't care about
He doesn't
that.
care about trouble.
He
He's
does
just
not at
not. He's
all.
not creative enough to do that, though. That would require an extra layer of like thought, essentially, which I don't think he's capable of in some ways. You know.
I think there's also an argument to be made, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's like that you want like he probably just wants to get his people who are not writers back to work.
That's what he said.
And it's like I get it, Well,
and you gotta
I totally get it, but it's
got to make money and stuff. Or, like that's kind of what I thought. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but like if, I bet a lot of shows are gonna get just fully shut down.
I think
like they did in the 2007 or 8 strike.
Yeah, but it weakens the overall. Then the flip side of that argument is that weakens the overall position of below the line people.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, it's a classic divide and conquer tactic where you have like below the line people. You're getting them riled up against the WGA. We're out of work too, and we don't get the cushy pay that you guys get, and all this stuff, which is true. But it's like your anger should be directed towards these corporate 1%ers, but instead it's friendly fire towards other. It's like a lower middle class or middle class versus upper middle class without any anger directed towards the real overlords in the situation.
And I think it's a testament to the messaging of the WGA that. It seems like this move by Bill Maher has been widely panned.
Yes.
I think, right? I mean,
at least by the sources that I see.
I think mostly because people hate Bill Maher.
Yeah. If it was a different person who was more beloved, I don't know who that person is because everyone hates all.
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Kimmel. No, even he was like canceled recently.
He was, again.
No one likes Jimmy
No
Fallon.
one cares about that, though. Yeah. I think Jimmy
Kimmel, I would say, is
maybe
generally.
Or Colbert.
Yeah,
Okay,
Colbert's
Colbert.
probably the most.
So if Colbert
liked.
did this, there would be people attacking it, but I don't think it would be with the same level of animosity.
I feel like if Colbert did it, he would just make the messaging clear that, I'm going to use all my proceeds to support my writers and the strike itself or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if his network would put him on the air if he had that stance.
Because didn't they do that in 2008 too? They brought back shows without writers.
They did, yeah.
And it wasn't like a big. It wasn't
interesting.
seen as crossing a picket line.
No one cared back then. But the WGA messaging, like you said, it's got a much bigger reach this
It's
time
much more
around.
existential this time than it was.
It's more existential, and I feel like it's crossed over more into the mainstream. Like, I think in 2007, 2008, the average person wouldn't have maybe not even heard of the Hollywood strike at that point, whereas now I think people are aware.
It was also about different issues. Like, now it's about, like, streaming, mostly.
Yeah. It was about DVD residuals and stuff like that last time.
Yeah. So, I don't think it had as big of a... universal movement behind it where like kind of everyone is feeling similar things in other industries too.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like representing a fight that everyone's gonna have to be fighting for the next.
Like the United Auto Workers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who we also support.
Yes.
I'm not at all working with Chrysler.
Brought to you by the new Dodge.
Speaking of which, let's go to our sponsor.
Pull them up. It's just Chad in like a pickup truck.
That's not going to make any sense, but that's fine.
That's okay.
That's okay.
It's all right.
That's the only image I had.
It's
That's
sort
okay.
of like it's a transformer for those who are not aware.
Yeah.
New rule:
Technically a vehicle.
Transformers. They used to, in my day, you had a man and a woman as robots. You didn't have Transformers. Yeah.
So what? We record these things out of order.
It's fine. No one cares. Okay. Any last takeaways?
I don't know. We're only 32 minutes in.
I mean, it's a shorter show.
Shorter show.
Okay.
I don't really have much to...
Give the people
Give them a
want.
break. Okay,
Yeah.
They've had enough of us.
They don't want to see
They don't
this
need any
anymore.
more of
That's
this.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you guys have more thoughts?
I got nothing.
I don't.
Should we have AI give us our thoughts?
Maybe tell AI to give us a closing message in the
Let's
voice of
ask-
Bill Maher. I don't know.
Close out the show.
Close out the show. There we go.
With final thoughts on this matter, taking both sides into consideration.
Which is totally a Bill Maher thing. He's like, I'm a liberal. I used to be anyway. He said, now I hate trans people. But that's what's happened to this world. It's gone crazy. All right. Okay. Well, folks, we've had quite the night, haven't we? We talked about AI, cancel culture, and the WGA strike, and now it's time for some final thoughts. Look, I get it. AI is changing the game, whether we like it or not, and sure, there are benefits. Efficiency, consistency, the possibility of driving your car while being legally drunk because it drives itself. But let's not forget, efficiency isn't the end-all be-all. Art, whether it's screenwriting, painting, or stand-up comedy, isn't supposed to be efficient. It's supposed to be messy, chaotic, filled with human flaws and nuances, because that's what life is. That's what makes a story resonate, what makes a joke hit home. And let's not kid ourselves. We are far from having an AI that can understand the complexities of human emotion or the societal implications of a tweet gone wrong. Now, for the WGA, I hear you. Standing up against an industry that's willing to trade your creativity for a few lines of code, that takes guts. But remember, the world keeps turning. Technology keeps advancing, and if you don't adapt, you risk becoming the blockbuster video of the writing world. So maybe, instead of just striking, think about how to integrate this new tech into your craft without losing the human element. And as for cancel culture, let's be real. Accountability is crucial, but so is context. If we spend all our time looking for reasons to cancel each other, we'll miss the bigger picture, like, say, understanding why Mitch McConnell doing the Fandango on live TV is both sad and an important commentary on our political health, or lack thereof. So here's my takeaway. Let's stop seeing each other as enemies. Whether you're a writer or a programmer, a social justice warrior, or a free speech advocate, you have something valuable to bring to the table. Because the only way we're going to navigate this increasingly complicated world is together. Humans and machines, liberals and conservatives, artists and engineers. So, let's take the best of what life has to offer and build something that's not even the most advanced AI could ever create. A more compassionate, nuanced, and yes, human future. Okay?
Kill him!
Kill him! Finish him!
Wow. Okay.
That was pretty powerful. Thank you, Chad and Bill.
Thank you, Chad.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's our show.
We love you with human nuance
We are humans.
and complex emotions.
Sorry.
I'm
Mitch.
feeling complex emotions from this chair right now, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I'm moving back to it next week. Sorry, Dash.
Yeah, that's fair enough.